Hi, my name is Heather. I'd like to welcome you to the Knits and Things podcast. I am Heather219 on Ravelry and Instagram, and those are my main two places to be online. I also started a Knits and Things podcast group on Ravelry where you can come and join in and talk about episodes or join in on knit-alongs and things like that. So I'm so glad that you joined me. Welcome. I hope you're knitting something nice and that you're warm wherever you are. This is I've lost track of how many days now, but I'm home again on yet another snow day. I was updating my podcasts on iTunes, and I saw that someone else had a title with that same thing, and I had already planned on the title for this episode being Another Snow Day. So it's funny and not so funny, I don't know, but my teacher friends and I are joking about how late we're going to have to go in the summer, and I say we're joking, but we're not really joking. We're a little grumbly because by now, this is really my summer break, and I feel like when we have snow days, I should be allowed to sit and do nothing, even if I was planning on doing a bazillion things at school that day, and it would actually be a break to not be in school. I really feel like I should, you know what I'm saying? I could get so much more done if I didn't have to teach for 6 hours during that day. So, but I really feel like, you know what, this is my summer break that's being eaten up right now, so I should really just sit around and knit and do whatever all day. So that never happens though. So yesterday I graded papers. Actually, yesterday I graded papers and napped. So I feel like I'm coming down with something. It's last weekend, the last time I recorded, I was talking about getting a little bit of the sniffles. Well, that next day I felt horrible. I spent the weekend in bed, and then I thought I got over that, but in all last week I felt like I was just kind of going, kind of like the Energizer Bunny. I just kept going and going and going, and sure enough, Saturday my son and I had something to do all day long, and when we got home I thought, man, I'm really tired. And then Sunday when I woke up I thought, not feeling all that great. He actually had his first lacrosse practice. It was kind of the last winter clinic and the first official meeting for the new team on Sunday, and I was planning on, they went to University of Maryland, and I was planning on, they met at Cole Fieldhouse, which if you can go, you can kind of do laps up where the people would normally be walking when they first would come into the stadium. And then you would have to walk down the stairs to get to the field where he was practicing. So I was thinking, oh, well, after the little parent meeting they do, I'll just go up and I'll run some laps. I'll do my laps that day and get my exercise and my cardio by running around. And Sunday, just the thought of it made me ill. That's how tired and worn out I was. And I just had that kind of the same as last time I recorded, just that little feeling like, you're about to get sick. So I kind of took it easy, and I took some knitting. I've had a lot of knitting that is coming up to be due here soon, so I just kind of took my knitting and talked with a couple of the parents that were there and spent my time knitting and watching my kid play lacrosse and get some coaching. He actually, it was a clinic there. His team does a lot of work with, there's a private school that's a really big lacrosse mecca, DeMatha High School here in DC, and that coach knows our coaches, so that he comes and does some clinics with us sometimes. And like I said, they were at Cole Fieldhouse on the University of Maryland College Park campus, because his coaches also know some of the people that work at Maryland, and they work a lot with those different teams and get a lot of extra kind of skill drills and things like that other teams aren't necessarily in on. So I thought it was neat, and I think it's a really good opportunity for him. So they got, a little bit of assistance there. So anyway, off of the lacrosse talk and the extra talk, let's get right to the episode, because I think I have some pretty good notes, and it looks like I have a pretty long show. So and I have prizes to be drawn. So let's get right to it. Let's go on to thing one. So for thing one, if you can tell, I am wearing a finished object. I did not finish. This is not the sweater that I intended to finish for my own knit-along, for the sweater knit-along that I'm going to be drawing prizes for later. but it is a finished object and I'm still excited. So this is my Water's Edge cardigan. I knit this out of Madeline Tosh DK. This is the Well Water colorway. I use size 7 needles. Most of the time I was on my size 7 Hiya circular needles, and I really, really loved them. It was the first time when I needed to do this sweater. The only size 7s I had were too short. They weren't long enough, especially to get this, I'm going to stand up a little bit, I hope you don't see my PJ pants, especially to get the peplum in. So I went and bought another set of needles, and that were long enough to hold all of those stitches at one time, because I think with the peplum and everything, for the size I was knitting, I think I had close to 400 stitches on the needles at the same time. So it got a little crowded on the little teeny tiny one that I had, because I think normally I usually buy circular needles because I knit everything on circular needles, but I think I usually go and stop at like a size 29 or 29 inch. And that was not enough. So I bought a size 42, I believe it was, to do this one, and it worked perfectly. So I'm pleased with the finished object. I'm not thrilled. It's not as flattering as I would like it to be. So that just means it's a different type of sweater. You know, I wear it when I'm casual and comfortable, not necessarily looking to be dressed up. So, and that's fine. So I think it's going to get a lot of wear. I wish it was a little more flattering. I did make a couple alterations. I should have done a little bit more shaping through the bust because I'm not impressed with the silhouette it gives. And I did wait for a little while to do this fold, to do the hem. The hem was supposed to be a little bit up, I think, but it was not quite as high as it is here. And looking at it, I probably could have gone down a little bit again and had it a little bit lower. I have a very long torso for such a short person, so I made the peplum, or I made this pleat a little bit longer than it was supposed to be. But I did everything else that the pattern says, and so I'm really kind of pleased with it. I did alternate skeins the entire time, and then it got a little dicey. I did have about maybe half of the last skein left, maybe not even half, maybe a third of the last skein left. But when I got to my sleeves, I kind of ran out of room to alternate actual skeins. So I believe it's this sleeve, if you can tell. Yeah, it's this one. This sleeve worked out pretty well. Most of the time I could alternate a little teeny scrap that was left over with the ball of yarn that was still working. But down towards the end, it got to be where I was working with the inside and the outside of the same skein. And for this sleeve, pretty much after I joined from the underarm, pretty much the rest of the sleeve was from the inside and the outside of the same skein. So this sleeve is a little more solid than the rest. It doesn't have that really kind of watery effect because I was switching every 2 rows. So, but I'm very pleased with it, and I really love the Mad Tosh. It feels really nice. I hope it wears really well. I've only worn it, I think, 2 days, so I haven't, gotten enough use in it to see it about any fuzzing or pilling or anything, but I really like the look of it, so I'm pretty happy. And I put a little clasp on it instead of a button, or leaving it open completely, so it's just a little clasp. I found some of those at, I want to say like Joann's or something. They were getting rid of, I guess, all of that style of button at one time. So I think this one cost me 25 cents. And I've had it in my button stash for years, so I just decided to use that instead of anything else. And I think I really like it. All right, so that was my one finished object. The rest are things that I'm still working on, so let's see where everything is. So I have a couple things I'll show you that I've gotten in the mail recently during Everyone Needs a Need, but it's not really things that I've bought. It's things that I've been given or I'm involved in a swap type thing. So we'll see if I get to those, if there's still time. So the one thing that I'm working on that I'm really quite proud of is a Wooby Monkey. He's not quite finished yet, so don't be afraid when I turn his face around and there's nothing there. But this is for a baby shower gift, so I don't think that this coworker knows that I have a podcast or watches it or anything. She does knit, so I don't know. If you're watching this, Amber, happy shower gift. So this is a Wooby Monkey that I'm making for a coworker. So it's part blanket and part animal head. So it's just a little snuggly for somebody to love on, for a little person to love on. And I was really thrilled when I found this. I knew I wanted to do this for this coworker, and I actually want to do another one for a personal friend. I knew I wanted to do them, so I had the pattern for a while, but then I got notice that her shower was coming, So I decided I better knit it because her shower is supposed to be on Thursday. And so this is working out just in time. I knit up really, really quick. If you're looking for a quick baby gift, this is it. But so I was really pleased to find that this pattern for the blanket was almost exactly like the sock yarn squares that I'm working on. Almost exactly. Actually, I modified it so that it would be knit almost exactly like that from the top down. And so I was very, very pleased. And it worked out really quick. The pattern actually called for a sport weight yarn though, and I'm using a worsted weight acrylic. So I cut down, I did not increase and make the blanket as many stitches wide as the pattern said, but I think it probably works out to be about the same because I cut out like probably 50 or 60 stitches, but this is a heavier weight yarn. So it was supposed to be done on sport weight, this is worsted, so I think it probably worked out comparably. And otherwise I followed the pattern pretty exactly. They wanted you to cast on a bazillion stitches, increase a little bit. Well, probably shouldn't say all that. Well, you increase a little bit and then do the fold over and the picot edge. But I wanted to knit from the top down because I knew that that was going to take just a little bit of time. And then I picked back up to put the head on there. So I finished the head last night. I want to go and fix something right there. I think I want to make that one stitch, that one brown stitch that I'm pointing at in between the two tan ones. I think I want to make that one tan as well. I think his face will look cuter. Although, it's just a cute little monkey face, so who cares? It doesn't have to be perfect. So then he still needs 2 eyes and a nose that will go over this little center hole and his mouth. And that gets, I think you do a satin stitch to put those things on there so that there's nothing for a baby to pull off. So I think it works out really well. And then I'm assuming I have to go back up and with the yarn here that I cast on with, I need to close up because you can get to the polyfill. There's still a little hole right there. I don't think you can see it, but there's still a hole right there, so I need to close that up. And sew in from where I drew in the nose and drew up the little circle. So that's really cute and quick, and that's done. So that was really fun. I worked on that most of the day on Saturday. Like I said, my son and I had something to do. We were actually at a diabetes conference all day. It was all kind of for people to see and hear the current research on diabetes technologies and research and strides towards a cure or things like that. So I just knit on that the whole time I was listening, which was most of the day. I stopped for an hour and did some work at one of the tables where I told you, if you've watched before, you've heard me talk about Zachary going up to Capitol Hill and being an advocate for raising money for the JDRF, and so I worked the table to try and sign up more people that would like to become advocates as well. So I did a little bit of time there. And then the next thing I want to show you is the sock yarn blanket. I'm trying to decide what I want to show first. Let me show you the square that I'm currently working on. This is the first one I've done out of Noro. And I'm realizing as I go along that Noro is not as nice to work with as some of the other softer, butterier yarns. So this is kind of hard on my hands these days. But this is one out of Noro. If you can see, it's kind of goes from a rust color to an orange to a yellow, and then I think the final square is going to stop with a green. This is the skein. This one is Noro. Is it Kurion? Yes, it's a Kurion sock. Humongous skein. And I had started some socks with this and just never finished. Noro is so thin and so stop and start in places that I was afraid to do it as a sock and have it. I know it's kind of almost a fold single, but it's so thin in places that I didn't want to have it as a sock and have a hole. So there's all those colors, and this skein was marked out for the excited block because I'm very excited about some different things that are coming up in my personal life. So I have an excited square there. I also had the next one coming up afterwards is going to be a happy or content block, and that's going to be out of this yarn. This is actually a Neighborhood Fiber base, but I dyed this yarn. I took a dyeing class with Karita years and years and years ago when she lived in Baltimore. So this yarn I've done just a couple little things out of it, so I still have a lot left. So those two are coming. But then I wanted to show you, I haven't shown in a while the squares themselves. So I have them all being stored in a new box. So I got some new storage boxes at Michael's last weekend. And this one I figured would hold by the time the blanket's done. I think I'm going to need all this space. So I have them all in here in my stash now so that it's a little more contained. So these are the ones that I've done so far, and I'm just going to try and go through them really quickly and just tell you what the yarn is if I remember. This one I do not remember. Sock yarn from a while ago. I want to say it's a Tess Designer Yarns color, but don't quote me. This one is a Dharma Faye colorway. I was in a Harry Potter group with her, and this was, I want to say something about the Potions Master or something. So that was an indie dyer from long, long ago. This is just a cheapy skein of Premier yarn from the craft store. Nice solid green. This was my Into the World that I started, and I keep wanting to go back. I'm like, surely I'm in that mood again, right? I need to knit more Into the World. But I kind of want, I'm using this as a mood blanket, but I kind of want to dip around and see what all the different squares look like first as well. So this one I really love knitting, but I want to see some of the other ones too. This was my new favorite sock yarn ever, Dragonfly Fibers, the Genie sock base. This was the Reluctant Dragon colorway, and I love this. The socks on a plane socks that I knit out of this, I love, love, love wearing them. This is my new favorite, and I think when I go to the what's it called? The Homespun Yarn Party in March. I think that's going to be on my list of things to get, which should probably be the only thing I get because I'm broke. But yeah, I need more Genie sock. We'll see what color I come up with there. This one is a little cheapy skein of it's one of the Common Companies, but it's got bamboo and wool in it. I want to say bamboo and nylon and wool. It's a blend. It's just and I want to say I got it from like a craft store, so it's not even expensive sock yarn. It's just a nice color. This one was creatively dyed. This red one was Neighborhood Fiber from a shawl that I knit a while ago. Here's one in Lorna's Laces. That one was the Tuscany color. This one, I don't remember the name of this one, but it's gorgeous superwash or superfine merino and a lovely teal and blue and brown colorway. This one I don't remember except that the name of it was something with newsprint, red and white and black all over, haha. And this one, these two actually look a little small. I might pick up again around the edge or undo the cast off and knit a couple more rows because this one looks really, really small. I guess maybe the yarn was a little thinner than others. I'm not sure exactly why, but definitely the gauge, you can tell the gauge is a little bit different because this one and this one are not the same size. And I don't even think it's a matter of, oh, it'll block out to that. It seems really small. So I'll probably do that one again. And then this one was the first one, and this was my Malabrigo. Yes, Malabrigo sock yarn in the Solis colorway. So those are the ones that I've done so far. This was is actually a project for the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup, and I'm doing this for an owl mission, so it's lasting for the 3 months of the term, and I needed to get to 12 to be at my halfway mark, but I've had all of January and all of February to get to the halfway mark, and now I need to be to the end by the end of this month. So that's why I'm knitting on another square right now in the middle of all the other things that I have that are due. So, because not only do I have, I don't think I mentioned this, not only do I have the baby shower that's on Thursday, but my nephew's birthday is on Saturday, and they're having a party, and I want to knit him a big slice of birthday cake, just a little stuffy toy to have as a snuggly. So all of that is due, but I'm still doing the squares because if I don't, I'm not going to finish. So, because I need to do 11 more of those this month. So, I probably won't be casting anything else on this month. So, that's my sock yarn blanket. Fox and Socks. I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about Fox and Socks, but I have lots of plans, so I'm going to. Okay, so Fox and Socks. I'm not currently knitting on any socks except the rainbow sock, and I haven't touched those in like 2 weeks. They're still at the same exact point that you saw them. But I want to pull them out because in the Single-Handed Knitter podcast, she had a thread going called Friendship Fetish February. Yes, I think that was all of them. And we all wanted to knit socks. So we all posted the sock yarn that we were thinking about working with next, and kind of and a little bit about ourselves, and we kind of paired up based on the yarn and who we might like to pair with. So I paired up with Claudia Gabriella, who is, I think her name is Gabriella Cause on Ravelry, or is that her on Instagram? I should look real quick, but I don't want to take time. So Gabriella, or Claudia Gabriella, and we've exchanged back and forth a couple times with messages, and I got her package in the mail on Friday, and I sent her yarn out to her on Friday. She lives in Switzerland, and she gave me, let me show you these things now. I wasn't going to show these unless I had time, but I'm going to hopefully have time. So she sent a lovely package, with some Swiss chocolate in it that's, a little bit is gone already. I tasted some just to see what it tastes like, and it's very, according to American standards, probably not as sweet as we're all used to, but I use 70% chocolate in my muffins. I have a healthier oatmeal muffin that I make that requires dark chocolate, so I'm going to use the rest of this bar in some muffins. She also sent a keychain and a little finger puppet that I'm going to use next time I see my nephew. A little llama finger puppet. And a little keychain. My son and I were laughing. We said that it's a little carabiner keychain, but if you can see, there's a little cow right there. And I said that must be because of the Swiss cheese, because the cow gives the milk, and the milk goes into the cheese. Maybe. In my logical brain, that's what it is. She also sent me a nooking needle, but it's for Tunisian crochet. So if I ever get brave enough to try Tunisian crochet, it just looks so fragile. But if I ever get brave enough to try, I'm ready. And she sent pictures. She sent postcards, which is what made me think of when I mentioned where she was from. She sent postcards of where she is from, and they're kind of vintage postcards. So they're, the old-timey postcards. And if you can see, this is where she used to live? No, this is where she lives now, near the Rhine River. And this is where she used to live. Oh, isn't it beautiful? Oh my goodness. Really gorgeous. So I think we're going to have a good time getting to know each other. One of the reasons that I liked her, she had some very nice sock yarn, but she also is a runner, and I thought it would be nice to pair up with a runner that could maybe motivate me and keep me kind of inspired to get back into my running when the weather is okay. I can't run on glare ice, which is what's out there now. So this was the original yarn that she sent, and I was going to cast on, I think the intent was for us to cast on a new pair of socks that each person would use a little bit of, or mainly their yarn, and then a little bit of the yarn from their friend. But this yarn doesn't necessarily match with the Runs with Scissors that I was looking at, and she had a much better eye at this than I did, because I thought it was going to be fine. But it is maybe a little bright. It would go, I bet, if I was just doing toes. But she was so nice, she also sent me another skein that she said would go better. So she sent this Lang Yaol, and she's right, this does make a much better match for socks. The reds are a little bit more complementary. So now I'm stuck with what to do. I have two different patterns in mind. I'm looking at, I wrote them down. I'm looking at, there's a pattern called There and Back Again, where you start with this and then you gradually start stranding in your second color. Then you knit the second color for the majority of the body of the sock, and then when it's time to do the cuff again, you've turned the heel and everything, it's time for the cuff again, then you gradually strand this out and start stranding this back in. So the complementary color is at the toes and at the cuff, and that's it. So, but with her sending me this, and this is basically a whole skein, it's 200 yards, 210 meters. But it's also supposed to be reinforcement yarn. So I don't know. I'm thinking that I could maybe get Stitch Surfers, and that this yarn might look really cool in Stitch Surfers. This yarn is the Sock Bunny Studios, I think she calls it her Jane base, and it's the Runs with Scissors colorway. So there's the red for the blood and the gray for the scissors. and the white for the floor of the school building that it reminds me of so much. So, it's very morbid, I know, but you had to be there, I guess. So then I was thinking, if I do that and knit those two together as one sock, then I could use this little bit as my heel for my rainbow stripey socks. And I think that might be nice. I think they look nice together. Can I find a way? Yeah. So I think those would be nice together. So I'm thinking that I'll continue to work on this as the sock that I do currently, hopefully to be finished by March, and use this as my heel. And I want to do an afterthought heel for this, so that'll be the first time I do that. And I don't know, sounds like interesting things to keep my interest so that I will knit this. And so these will probably be the only two things that I'll work on this month, is this, after I finish the baby gifts, and my sock yarn blanket. So, and this is my socks are now in a new Fat Squirrel Speaks bag. So I ordered this one last week. I just happened to be around when the update was going on, and I thought, if it's still there, I'll get that. And then I kind of hemmed and hawed. I was thinking maybe the sweater size, but I remember the sweater size is kind of almost too big for me. And I like, when I knit a sweater, I like for there to be a definite solid bottom to the bag. And these I think are more conducive to socks for me and for my style of knitting. So I have both of those sock projects in here, and I'll probably just continue to keep them in here until they're both done. So that is Fox in Socks. On to Oh, the Things You Can Think, and the new knit along. So for Oh, the Things You Can Think, I'm thinking of starting that new cake slice starting the cake slice for my nephew. And that's all that's really coming up right now, just because of the things that I know I need to get done for different projects and different alongs and knit-alongs and things that I'm in with. But I'm also thinking about starting a new knit-along. And I'm not sure if I want to do it as a new knit-along, or if I want to say, hey, everybody, this is what I'm doing. Why don't you come knit it with me if you want to, and not really do it in a structured way with prizes and things. Just because this sweater knit-along just finished, and it was pretty big, and I have lots of prizes to hand out. So I don't know. So this is what I'm thinking. And you can let me know. Go into the thread for this episode and let me know if you would like to knit this along with me, if you would like to do it as a knit along, or if you say, hey, I'll just knit that along with you because I think it's cool. So let me know what you think. I'm thinking of knitting the Viajante. I saw it when Leslie, yes, from the Knit Girls, first started doing it, and she was doing it at that teeny tiny thin hand spun. I thought how pretty it was. And then I saw Megan from Stockinette Zombies wearing hers after her Ravelinics project was finished, and I just think it's so pretty. And as she's talking about it and talking about really the name Viajante means traveler, and how it would be such a nice garment to have while you're traveling, and that I have a lot of traveling coming up here pretty soon, I really think I want to knit it. I did not get to dig through my stash with all the napping that I've been doing. I did not get to dig through my stash. I have 4 or 5 skeins of some Knit Picks. It's either Shadow or I think it's Shadow. It's one of their lace weights that I've had in my stash for years. So there's another good reason to knit it, because I can get some stash out, and that's a lot of stash because it takes about 17 or 1800 yards of lace weight, which is actually, if you're looking at lace weight, it's actually a pretty reasonable project. I know some people are a little leery of it being in lace weight, but 17 or 1800 yards of lace weight is going to cost less than 17 or 1800 yards of fingering. Now, I guess you might not need to use that much fingering because the fingering would be at a different gauge. So that might be something to consider. You might not need that much. And I don't know exactly how much it would go down. I wonder if it would go down, instead of needing 1800 yards, if you'd only need 1200 yards or 900 yards. I don't know. I'm not sure. If anybody knows, or if anybody sees any of the project pages where somebody has done it in fingering and has listed how much yarn they use, that would be something interesting to think about as well. Although I don't have enough of one color of fingering to do it that way either. So I'm going to use my Knit Picks stash that's been there forever and get that out of the way. It's kind of a a greeny brown color. It's more of a brown, but it's got like little flecks of green. I think it's called Forest is the colorway I have. And again, I've had it for, I want to say like 8 years. It's been in my stash. It's been there for a long time. So I would love to get that knit up, and I would love to have a Vajante. So I know I'm going to knit it probably not until April, until this term of Harry Potter is over, until I get the stock yarn blanket squares done for my owl. So it's going to be a while, but I would like to knit it. So let me know. Would you like to knit it along with me? Just because? Or do you think it should be a knit along? I could probably offer up a pattern for a prize, but I don't know about much else because I'm doing a lot for this one, which I wanted to, and I wanted to do a sweater knit along. So I'm very happy with that, but I can't do them all the time. So we'll see. I also know that Stephanie, and who is Hot Pink Socks, and Trisha, who is Tie Dye Diva, have already kind of chimed in on the group and said that they would could probably be persuaded to knit that along with me. So let me know if anybody else is in. And for Stephanie and Trisha, let me know if you're still in. I think Trisha was getting ready to do a knit along with Yarn Snob. So I don't know if that would kind of work in there together or not. Let me move on to Everyone Needs a Thneed and get right to the prizes. All right, so for Everyone Needs a Thneed, I've got just a couple little things going. Let's see, what am I going to show first? I picked up some, I've been on a kick. Every time I go into the craft store, I feel like I have to look at the self-striping yarn and the socks that are there. As a matter of fact, I think I grabbed some that I did not put over here. I don't know where I put them. These I picked up from Joann's last time I was there. So I picked up the Premier yarn. I know I've seen a couple stashers use this. A couple podcasters use this, rather. This is a kind of a pinky purple. I normally am not a pinky purple girl. I am a purple girl, though. So these, if I do them, could be for me. But that's a nice stripe, and it shows what they look like. It's kind of got the faux Fair Isle look going on a little bit of the places. So I thought that would be an interesting pair to do just as a plain toe-up. I might even kind of experiment again with a different heel for maybe an afterthought heel. So I got that one, and I also got the very pink ones. And I do have a friend that has 2 daughters who are very girly girls. Here's a very pink color. So this color is called Pink Sugar, and the original one I showed you is called Spring Fling. Oh, I like it. Bon Temps first. Bon Temps better. Bon Temps du Printemps. Occasional de Primavera. Ah, it's got different languages. You could learn a little by knitting. So there's a very sweet pink, which would probably not be for me. So these would definitely be for a gift for someone somewhere along the line. So I feel like every time I go to the craft store, I have to check the self-striping socks just to see what kind of a deal might be there. So, and these were on sale that day, 25% off. So I figured it was a good time to grab those. I also bought some of the blue Patons Kroy. Patons Kroy? Yes, for my son, just the blue stripe. Just for his next pair of socks, which his foot is almost the exact same size as mine now, so it's kind of ridiculous. But so I picked those up for him, and I picked up some more cotton for more dishcloths because I'm addicted. I just think they're so neat. So here's the last leaf that I did. I sent one of the leaves off to a different pal, my pal for the Harry Potter group, and this one I think I'm going to send to someone as well as soon as some more things come in. I wanted to send some things that were definitely from Maryland. So I have some magnets coming. They could go on your car, they could go on your refrigerator, wherever, but they were in the shape of a crab and the Maryland flag. So it was a crab shape, but it had the Maryland flag printed on it. And I thought that was really cute to share with someone for, something from this area. So that brings us to... No, it doesn't. Oh, I did buy crochet hooks. I've left everything. I'm not even going to mention them. I bought crochet hooks, and you saw the one storage thing, but I bought the crochet hooks that are small enough to fit the beads through. They had a whole package at Michael's the other day, and some are a little too big. Some would be good for like the filigree work, which I will never do, so I might have to arrange a trade with someone for those. But the last 2 there was a whole kit in like a white envelope, and the last 2 fit through a bead because I walked over to the bead department and put them through there purposely. So I bought those things too. So I've been buying kind of little things here and there, and I need to until the festivals this spring. So because I still have the Homespun Yarn Party and Maryland Sheep and Wool coming up, and I know I'm gonna misbehave, so I need to behave now. So on to the prizes. Yes, okay, it's only been 36 minutes in, but let's get to the prizes. So for the knit along, I was very excited. I loved seeing all the finished projects, and I loved that there were like some lurkers, people that I hadn't even seen comment or anything before. Just ta-da! Here's this finished sweater. Here you go. I was like, oh, who is this person? Look at that sweater. Oh, it's great. So I was really excited to see all the beautiful sweaters. There were a total of 13 finished sweaters, so you still have a pretty good chance of getting a prize. Because I have, and I didn't even think of it, I have 5 prizes. I don't know how I didn't remember the bags, because the bags, I'm waiting for whoever wins the bag to tell me which one they want so that I can have the other bag. So the storage on the iPad bit me again. And partway through picking the prizes, everything went black. But that was actually good because I was using the random number generator, and with all the chatter posts that had been in there, the chatter posts were coming up a lot. So once I knew that my storage was full and I needed to stop recording, or that it had stopped recording, I just went ahead and drew the rest of the prizes and assigned them. So I'll just let you know what you've won. So the prize number one and number 2 are both going to be for patterns from Ravelry. So it's a pattern up to $8 of your choosing. Let me know the pattern that you want and I will gift it to you. So the first person is Lee Fen from Belgium. Okay, Lee Fen knit a cute little cardigan in a size small. I'm assuming that's for her. Cute little thing. So Lee Fen, let me know which pattern you want and I will send it right to you. The second winner also gets a pattern from Ravelry up to $8. Let me know what you want and I will send it to you. And that winner was Hot Pink Sock. So Stephanie, congratulations. You get a pattern of your choice as well. Okay. The third winner was Heather, who is Bunnyfish. And Heather, every time I have a knit along and give out prizes, you get one of them. So Heather won a skein of Dramatic Knits yarn last time as well. So Heather, your prize was for, you got prize number 3, and prize number 3 was for, let me double check. Prize number 3 is your choice of one of the bags, and this is where I was when everything cut out. So you get to pick either the storybook bag, and these are the ones that go sideways. So you either get the storybook bag like this, or you may have the musical notes or the music bag with the tan handle. Okay, both of them are the same, just the pattern is different. They both have the handle and a cute inside. There's no pockets or anything, it's just a nice big roomy pouch. So Heather, let me know which one of those that you want. The other one is for me. So let me know which one you like best and I will send that one right out to you. All right, so that was prize number 3. Prize number 4 goes to Twinny Mama. And Twinny Mama, prize number 4 is the Malabrigo Worsted. So I hope you're a felter or someone who does not mind knitting with a very fragile yarn. With a big fuzz right there. Because you get this beautiful Malabrigo Worsted in this lovely, what would you call it, sage green colorway. And I can't wait to see what you do with it. It's been sitting in my stash waiting and waiting for me, and clearly I'm not getting to it. So hopefully, Twinny Mama, you have something that you could do with it, or that you would like to do with it. And I would love to hear about or see what happens with it once it becomes yours. So that is for you, Twinny Mama. And the last winner, that was prize number 4. Yes, the last winner was Tie Dye Diva. And Tie Dye Diva, you win the prize that Stephanie donated, which is a set of the Collage Square circular knitting needle. So it's a circular needle, but if you can see, the needle is a square. It's a rectangular prism. And these, I believe, are size 4. Yes, US size 4 is a 32-inch length, size 4. But she also sent along yarn. So here is some collage riveting yarn. It's made from recycled blue jeans, but it's a beautiful rosy pink colorway. And you can kind of see some little cotton flecks and nips in there that definitely remind me of jeans. So, Trisha, I get you next knitting meeting, okay? We'll save on postage for that. Or if you're dying to get your hands on it and want to meet me a little sooner, let me know and we'll figure out somewhere to meet that we can get you your prize. So I'd like to say thank you for everybody for knitting along. I really, really enjoyed seeing all of the sweaters and all of the finished projects and seeing everybody's progress pictures and tips and tricks that they were sharing. I think the next time I do a sweater, I would like to try to find one that we all do. I see a couple people did do Miranda, but I really like the tips and tricks help that we get when we do knit along. So maybe we'll do a summery sweater or a springish type sweater later on in the year, and we'll all try and knit the same project so that we can get more help and learn from each other. But thank you so much for participating, everybody. I really, really enjoyed it, and I was very happy with the turnout. So I think that's going to be it for this week. I'm going to go probably take another nap and clean up all my yarn that I've drug out and put it back where it belongs, and get a little more rest and maybe make a monkey face tonight or something. So I hope that you enjoy what you're knitting. I hope your knitting makes you happy. Until next time, see you then.